Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. In this child support review hearing, two parents are tangled in a dispute over what qualifies as support. The mother argues that the father's efforts don't meet her expectations, while the father lays out his contributions, frustrated that no amount of proof seems to matter. They're locked in a tug of war over who's doing more, who's doing enough, and who's keeping score. Let's see how the court handles this battle over money and control.
Court's on the record, and this is Bell County Calls number 25 DFAM 351-1084, and this is in the interest of Allen minor child, non-custodial, or Richardson Allen minor child, non-custodial party being Patrick Allen, custodial party being Sharon Richardson. This is before the court of a petition for a non-agreed-to child support review order. Court is taking judicial notice of the court file. Note for the record, let's see. That the paperwork has been filed in this matter, that both parties doesn't acknowledge the paternity attached to the pleadings, and both parties signed waivers agreeing to be here today and waiving service of citation. So at this time, both parties are properly before the court, and I'll ask the state for an opening to tell the court what the state is requesting as far as the CSRO is concerned and what the agreements and contested issues are at this time. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. The parties have agreed to modify the current amount of child support after recalculating Mr. Allen's income, specifically putting his BAH in a non-taxable bucket, giving him credit for Maryland state income and local taxes, giving him credit for one additional child. The proposed order stated that current child support would be $901 a month. The current child support should be $999 a month. The other
I'm sorry, 900, 901, or 999. I'm sorry.
$999, Judge.
Okay, for current child support. Okay, thank you.
The other issues of the proposed order are also agreed to, except for the issue of retroactive child support. The child support review order calculations had to be redone also. Specifically, I believe the evidence will show that Mr. Allen was in the state of Texas for the months of November and December. His current child support is calculated on his military pay, as well as a second job that he has in Maryland. The straight military pay would have had his guideline child support for November and December at $775 a month, would have his January retroactive child support computed at $999 a month. I believe that the mother will testify that he contributed approximately $60 for items for the child during that. And we're just talking about November, December of 2024 and January of 25. $60 for the welfare of the child. He paid one half of daycare for the month of December, and he paid the whole month of daycare for January, contributing $475.50 off of the total, leaving the balance of retroactive child support $2,019.50. I believe that is what Ms. Richardson would testify she's requesting the court to order. Mr. Richardson, based on his cost to be in Texas, to be near the child, and to see the child, he is asking that he not pay retroactive child support and asking the court to make that determination.
All righty. And right now, you're still using the Texas BAH, or we're using something else?
We use Mr. Allen agreed to use the BAH of Maryland, which is $2,000. $529 a month. He lives off post and he pays approximately $2,200, I believe, per month for rent.
All right. I normally don't use anything in the DC. Is he in the DC area?
I'm in DC, yes. I'm in the
Okay.
DC area.
All right. I don't use. I'm stop. I don't. I normally don't use the DC or West Coast BAH. It's or New York BAH. I always base it on the BAH here in Texas. I don't look at that because it's just astronomically different than it is here. So
And do you know what that number is, Judge?
I thought that was the original numbers we were looking at. Was it originally looking at based on his BAH there?
They don't break that out, Judge, for me. They
Okay.
had everything in a taxable bracket, so I am not sure what that is with. I have his gross income on today at $4,774.65. If you want to tell me what the difference is from what they had in that proposed order, that could be the BAH, but I don't know.
Ma'am, I'm sorry. The BAH that they used last time was the same one here. They didn't use the one in Texas. The last time we had the mediation, the woman, she used my BAH from where I am currently.
Okay. All right, sir. Were you here at Fort Cavazos? Were you ever in Texas?
I was on parental leave from October until December for my son, and I had left here to get to Texas.
But you've never
I
been.
left here.
Has Texas ever been your duty station?
No, Maryland is my duty station. This is my first duty station.
Okay.
Now, Your Honor, I can tell you that Miss Richardson is in the military. She probably knows the BAH.
Okay. All right. Was a child conceived here in Texas?
He was not.
Okay.
Your Honor, I believe the fact that Mr. Allen was in Texas for 2 months prior to the CSRO having minimum contacts with the state and with the child is how we all got here.
Right. And the waiver itself
jurisdiction.
will probably nail that down too. So yeah, okay, but yeah, because I was wondering how we had long arm because I thought he was obviously here at Fort Cavazos and they're well aware of my rule, but when they're here in Texas, I use that. If they leave Texas, I still keep it as that. But anyway, all right, let's go ahead and well, I know what's your rank, sir?
I'm a specialist.
Give me that in the E.
E4.
E4. Okay, I didn't remember. All right, so and how many years?
Less than 2. I just joined in 23.
Okay, so it's an E4 with less than 2 years. All right. Just a second.
So, Your Honor, based on all of my calculations using the Maryland BAH, none of my numbers are going to be right for this court. Ms. Richardson, can you tell me what your pay grade is?
I'm an E3.
And you live on post, correct?
Yes.
And do you know what your BAH is?
As of the new BAH, I believe it is 1598.
1598, Your Honor. That sounds right.
Yeah, she's a need. You're a need what now?
E3.
E3. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't go up until you can become an E5. So yeah, it's gonna be the same amount as him. So it'll be 1389 with dependents. Sorry, just a second. Somebody's calling me, and my brother's calling me. Just hold on.
Hey, JoJo. How is he doing today? Karen. Okay.
All right, sorry about that. Sorry about that. So yeah, all right then. Yeah, because again, you know, state of Texas is a lot. BAH here is a lot less than some of these other places, and especially like I say on the DC, New York area, and the all the West Coast area. So I always when I'm dealing with those states, I always use the Fort Cavazos BAH, which is for his rank 1389. So yeah.
I thought you said 1598. I'm sorry.
No, 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 no. That's it. It goes up. It goes up to no, it goes up when he's in E5. He gets it at 1485, but it's never I don't know. It's 1389 with dependents and 1089 without dependents.
All right. So with dependents, Your Honor, I show that give me 1 second. That for the months of November and December, based just on his military pay, the guideline child support was $630 based on 1398 BAH and base pay of 2750. I show that.
Hey, excuse me.
Just a second. Don't interrupt, sir. Thank you.
Sorry, man. It's just if we're going off of my
Yes.
BA.
Stop. Let the state finish. Don't interrupt. I'm writing this down, sir. So don't interrupt, and you get a chance to tell the court what you're thinking in just a moment. Thank you. You may proceed, Ms.
Sorry.
And Your
Yeah.
Honor, based on 1398 plus his current military pay and his current security job, I show that guideline child support is $890. Oh, hold on. Yes, $890, Judge.
Okay. All right then. And all right, yes, sir. Now you can speak.
Apologies. Wasn't trying to be rude. My pay
no
rate
problem.
was not my pay rate was not the 27 and 24. It just changed. So it wasn't 2750 something. It was like 26 something in
Yeah, you got
24.
you got your 4% raise, sir. We were okay. So what the state's talking about going forward is for what that the amount of child support is. So that's what it is going forward.
Right.
So the
I
state
understand.
has to give me the calculations based on what she's asking for as far as retro giving you credit for the daycare that you paid for.
But would the back pay not be based on what my rate was then instead of what it is now? Because that's not what I was
Now,
making.
right now, she hadn't talked, sir. She hadn't talked about back pay yet. She's only talking about the current child support.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was apologies. I wasn't trying to.
Okay, she hadn't given me those figures yet. It'll be just a moment. Thank you.
I understand. Thank you.
Your Honor, unfortunately, the only pay information that I have is the new pay rate. And I know that Mr. Allen doesn't have access to his LES. I don't know what an E4 made in 2024. So
You
what
can
his
look
base
at
pay
you can
was.
look at the pay scale. The pay scale,
They
you can look it up on military pay.
It was only a 4%, 3-4% raise, so it's not going to. We're talking about $40 per 1,000. So it's only going to be something like another $100 off his gross at the max. So, but anyway, let's bring it up. I'll bring it up. Sorry.
Your Honor, may I proceed?
Yes, you may.
State calls Patrick Allen. Mr. Allen, you joined the military in 2023, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You joined as pay grade E4,
Yes, ma'am.
and currently you have less than 2 years, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And just for your information, the less than 2 years E4 in 2024 was $2,634.
2,634, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
I show that based on that pay rate, Judge, then guideline child support would be $588 per month instead of the $630 that I told the judge previously based on the pay for this year.
Correct. All right. So for
So
last year,
looking at November and December, it's $588 for those 2 months, plus the $889 for January. That's what we're talking about.
right. All right, folks, let's go and get some testimony. I know mom is requesting the retro, dad's requesting me to waive that for the purposes of travel expenses, sir. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna let the state call you as a witness, and I'll get the whole testimony at this time. So at this time, Miss Richardson and Mr. Allen, both please raise your right hands. Do you both solemnly swear or affirm your testimony gonna give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and that but the truth will help you?
I
Yes.
do.
I told officially on the oath, and I'll allow the state to proceed. And you put your hands down. And Miss Richardson, how is the child in this case?
I'm sorry, you said how is he? Or how old is he?
How old is he? How old is he?
He'll be one this month, sir.
All right, thank you. You may proceed, Ms. Graham. Thank you.
State calls Patrick Allen. Mr. Allen, were you granted leave from the military to come to Texas for the purposes of bonding with your child?
Yes, the military grants non-custodial the non-birthing parent 84 days to be there with their child. I was not allowed to take my leave immediately when he was born due to prior issues, so I had to take it at the end of the year before it expired because the military gives you a year to take it.
And can you tell me when did your leave start?
My leave initially started on the 8th of October, but I didn't leave on the road towards Texas because I had to drive down. I didn't leave on the road towards Texas until the 19th, or I believe it's like the 19th or the 20th of October, because while I was off my military job, I still had to get leave from my second job, my part-time job, letting them know that I would be gone for a period of time, because if I didn't let them know, then I would have been fired while I was gone on parental leave.
So
So
you drove from Maryland to Texas, correct?
yes,
And how much did that that leg of your travel cost you to get to Texas to see your child?
um, I would say
Gasoline, hotel, anything like that?
I stopped in Georgia with family for a couple of days before I got to Texas, so I didn't have to pay for a hotel right away. As far as gas, I would say from Maryland down to Georgia, it was about maybe 300 or 400, maybe five, because I had to fill up I had a truck. I had the family car. I had to fill it up like 3 or 4 times. I had to keep stopping. I was in Georgia, and then when I left Georgia, it was like a 13-hour drive. I stopped maybe 6 times, and that was, I would say, like 300 for that. So I'd say it was like maybe like six or 700 just in gas driving down.
Okay. And when you got to Texas, um, between the time you got here and the time you left, how many times did you have to pay for some kind of hotel or housing?
For hotel, it was once I paid $309. That was like mid-November. I had like stayed for a weekend. As far as driving back and forth, because Ms. Richardson didn't want me to
Okay,
interrupt.
man, sir, here's the deal. Don't explain your answer. I'm sorry. I'll let you go a little bit longer.
Oh,
Right now,
apologies.
we want the precise information, and if we need an explanation, the state will delve into it. But for right now, we're just looking for the figures where we can get them all, get all our ducks in a row and get this added up, okay?
Okay, so
Well,
driving.
and that's your estimates. So
Not
go
not
ahead.
Oh,
not driving, Mr. Allen. How many times did you have to pay for a hotel? Just once?
it was just once.
Okay. And when you were in Texas, were you in the Killeen area or were you somewhere else?
I was in Bedford.
And how
For
far is Bedford from Killeen?
2 hours and 54 minutes.
And when did you actually leave Texas?
I left Texas the day out of Christmas.
From the time you were in Texas until you left, how many times did you travel from where you were staying to Killeen to see your son?
At least about eight or nine times.
And how much would you say you spent in gasoline for that travel from where you were staying to Killeen?
Maybe about 400 or 500 each month.
400 or 500 total, or 4 or 5
I would say total. Total.
total? Total was $400 or $500. Okay. And what vehicle did you drive from Texas back to Maryland when you were going back to be active?
Ford F-150.
And how much would you say you spent in gasoline from Texas to Maryland for your trip home?
400.
Is there anything else? I mean, you would have had to buy food for yourself regardless, right? Is there anything
Mhm.
else that you spent on your child during the time you were in Texas for the months of November, December, and January?
I bought him clothes. Like I'd say about like maybe 4 or 5, like physically, but I had brought him clothes too. And then I bought him food. Well, I bought food that I could give. I gave to her for him when he stayed with me at the hotel. I bought toys. Um, at the most, I would say I spent like maybe 200 on like that alone. Like just as far as his clothes, I got him clothes and then toys, and that was pretty much all I could provide at the time because I was still paying both car notes. So yeah.
Okay. Um, Now you paid for half of the daycare in December, is that correct?
I think it was I paid on the I paid on the 5th. I don't know if that covered the beginning of December because I did pay her at the end of December to also cover the second half. So
Do you know how much money for November, December, and January you paid Miss Richardson for the cost of daycare?
for November, for November, I missed. I did not pay anything in November. I know that because I asked her about it, she told me that I had to go up there physically, and being where I was, I couldn't. So when I was there in December, I paid. I went to the place and paid directly. I don't know exactly the number, but I went to the place and I had got a receipt from them. It was 132 when I made that payment. It was a credit to his account. And then when I left on the 28th, I paid her another 132 for his daycare. She told me that that would cover the first half of January. And then the second half of January, she didn't accept the payment from me. So I had a friend go in and pay it directly. So, that,
So it's your testimony that you paid 265 for January and you
hmm
paid 132 for December.
hmm
Yes?
to my understanding, yes.
Okay. Are you asking the court to not order you to pay any retroactive child support based on your testimony?
Yes.
As far as the rest of the terms of the order, you are agreeing to those, correct?
Yes. I am
And
as
we've
far as
done, go ahead.
if me and Ms. Richardson can reach an agreement on like just how much visitation I can get with him, then I think that'll be the only other thing as far as like managing. I'm cool with like the joint conservator. I just
Okay.
I want to be able to have more time with him because I know I'm not going to physically be stationed anywhere near her, and it's already hard enough like being military. So
And I've given you a lot of figures today, and it looks like after speaking with the judge today, and reducing your BAH to what they use in Killeen, Texas, you understand that guideline child support with one additional minor child is $890 a month, and you're agreeing to pay that.
yes, I am.
I'll pass this witness, Judge.
All right, so I'm gonna be back in just a moment. Let's get some testimony from mom and let's see if we can figure this one out. So at this time, sir, yeah, so you're new to the military, and how long are you going to be stationed in the DC area, sir?
I'm here until 2029. I signed a 6-year contract.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you very much. You may call your next witness then, Ms. Graham.
Yes, Your Honor, state calls Sharon Richardson. Miss Richardson, you and I have also gone over a bunch of numbers this morning in reference to current child support based on calculations, and you understand that the final current amount of child support would be $890, and you're asking the court to order that, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
As far as the retroactive child support, you agree that Mr. Allen did pay half of the daycare in the amount of $132 in the month of December?
That's accurate. Yes, ma'am.
You agree that he paid the amount of daycare in the amount of $265 in the month of January?
That is accurate. Yes, ma'am.
You also agree that in November he did not make any payments toward daycare.
Correct.
He testified that he had spent approximately $200 a month for your child from the time that he was here through January. Did you have the opportunity to estimate how much money you believe he spent for the care of your child for November, December, and January?
As stated earlier, when you asked me this question, I believe it was under $60, ma'am.
You do agree that he did drive a truck from Maryland to Texas for the purposes of bonding with your child?
No, ma'am. He drove a Chevrolet SUV. The truck was here. So he did not drive a truck down, which is a major difference in between gas because it takes about 20 to 40 to fill up the
Okay,
Chevrolet versus the truck.
don't speculate it unless you're an engineer for GM. You can't tell me that, okay? I'm sorry.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay. Just tell me what type of SUV it was.
Chevrolet Traverse.
Okay, well, I got a Tahoe, a Traverse, and a Buick version of the Traverse, and an F-150. So yeah, I know what the gas is for all of those. So just go right. I'll let the state go ahead and ask you your next question, ma'am. Thank you.
Mr. Allen testified that he only stayed in the hotel in Killeen area one time, and you agree with that, correct?
Yes,
You agree that he was staying about 2 hours away at a relative's residence, correct?
yes,
He testified that he traveled approximately 8 to 9 times to visit his son during the time he was on leave in Texas. How many times do you estimate that he traveled to your area to see his son?
it was a total of 6. 2 times to a hospital, 1 time for a weekend, and then 1 time for Christmas, and then an additional time to pick up his truck.
So he visited no more than 6 times, correct?
Correct.
So you are asking the court to determine if your child is entitled to back child support. And do you believe that Mr. Allen should receive credit for what he actually purchased for your child and the cost of daycare, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
As far as his costs of travel to Texas, for the purposes of seeing his child, do you believe he should receive any kind of credit for that?
No, because he had the option to fly down, which would have saved him a lot more in gas, being that he had two vehicles total. So he could have just flew down and drove his other car while here. That's one way. And then another reason is because, as he stated, his leave started October 8th. He didn't get to us to October 31st, mainly being in the state of Georgia, hanging out with friends and family. Has nothing to do with me. You spent your finances on whatever.
Again, okay. All right, ma'am. Again, like I told him earlier, just listen to the question and answer the question, and you don't have to give the court an explanation of why you answering that way. Just answer the question that is asked. Thank you. All right, you may proceed.
And Ms. Richardson, you agree to all the rest of the terms of the proposed order, correct?
I'm sorry?
You agree to all the rest of the terms of the proposed order that was done in the office in January of this year?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll pass this witness, Judge.
All right, then. So at this time, we know what the child support amounts are. We know what the and I didn't hear anything about cash medical, but since both parties are in the military, our presumption the child's on mom's TRICARE, so that's not gonna be a factor one way or the other. And if dad had to, he could put him
Your
on
Honor, I
his
believe
too.
the agreement is TRICARE for medical, dental at a cost of $8 a month.
All right, good enough. All right, put your hand down, sir. I'm going to go ahead and let everybody get the opportunity to say something before we get ready, before I start making rulings and trying to figure a couple of items out. Anyway, the first question I have, ma'am, how long are you going to be at Fort Cavazos?
According to my orders, I'm here to July of 2029, sir.
All right, so about the same time he's going to be. And sir, where are you actually stationed in Maryland?
Fort Meade.
You're in Fort Meade? Okay.
Yes.
Know where that is. All right, then. So at this time, I'll go ahead and hear anything in addition from both of you. You're both your own legal reps, so you get to tell the court a closing statement, a closing argument. The state has no more witnesses, correct, Ms. Graham?
That's correct, Your Honor. No additional witness.
All right. So at this time, I'm going to start with the father and let him tell the court anything else additional he thinks I need to know as far as figuring out what I want to do as far as the funds are concerned. And the circumstances are what the circumstances are. You did what you did, sir. So I'm looking at what you did and seeing whether or not and making a determination on how everything actually unfolded. And then I'm gonna give mom the opportunity to tell me anything in addition she's going to ask me to do one way or the other. So at this time, sir, you're up.
Sir, I have been helping as much as I possibly can from where I am. Me and Ms. Richardson both knew we were going to be at different stations. As far as assisting her with the car, with paying on it for a year straight and everything, I just wanted to be known that I've literally done everything I possibly can to help with my son and going and the whole nine. And even when we have our disagreements, from being blocked to her communicating with me, she's a great mom. She has been communicating with me. At times when she gets upset, she blocks me or whatever, and we disagree, but that doesn't mean that I'm not here to support my son. And I just want that to be known, because at times she's made it seem very apparent to her, because I'm not doing the things she thinks I should be doing, that I don't want to be in my son's life and I don't care for my child. So I just want that to be known. And as far as helping with my son in November and driving down, literally the day I drove down, I almost got the police call to me because I did not call when I was blocked. It's those things that I don't agree with, but I understand, like, my son is the main factor at point. So I just want to be known that I am here to help with my son as much as she may think that I don't want to be, because I'm not doing the things she thinks I should be doing. But when I went down, I drove down because I didn't have the funds to fly down. So when I drove down, Both of those vehicles, literally, I did not buy that car because I wanted to. I bought it to help her in every possible way. In every situation she's gotten into, from the court fees in 23 to till now, every situation she's been into, I've been assisting and trying to help with what I can from where I am. So I just want that to be known.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Ma'am, your turn.
I just want to let it be known that I didn't get the assistance needed down here. Like I stated before, his leave started October 8th. He spent his time as somebody who claims that they want to be with their child. Out of the 84 days that you're allotted to be with your child, according to the military regulation, you only spent a total of 6 days with him, leaving on Christmas Day. So that's number one. And then number two, as stated, like your leave started October 8th. Despite of what other job you have or what other responsibilities you have, your main source of income was from the military. And if they allotted you these days to be here with your child, that was your opportunity to take it and to spend with that child. Even when coming down here and him not paying, like he decided to take the vehicle away, I admit he did. Our agreement was for him to pay on the vehicle, and I was going to take care of everything else concerning the child. But then he came and he took his vehicle, and the agreement was that he would go on child support if he did decide to take the vehicle, which he did. But in that, he during the duration of him being here, it was known that he was not like buying diapers, wipes. He was not paying on daycare. He was just kind of sitting down here doing whatever else, but he was not spending time with his child. The days I had to do 24-hour staff duty, I had to pay someone to watch the child for the duration of that time frame because he wasn't available to do it or he was elsewhere during that parental leave. But when asked to at least pay half of November so that I can use those funds, the funds that he's supposed to pay half of for daycare, I was going to use the funds to Uber to and from my child's appointments, which he has pediatric all the way in Round Rock. He has his therapy appointments all the way in Temple, and also cardiology, which is at Dell's Children all the way in Austin. And so you can only imagine how much those funds can be traveling from Colleen, Texas, all the way to those different appointments. Again, it's not his responsibility to cover the Uber fees, but had he paid his portion of the daycare and helped out a little bit more financially with his child, being that he took the vehicle, I would have had those funds to put toward Uber to get to and from those different appointments that my son has.
All right. Miss Graham, anything else in closing from the state?
No, Your Honor.
All right, folks, here's what I'm going to do. Obviously, I'm going to go ahead and grant the CSRO as is, except for some changes as far as the child support and some a couple other things that as far as communication with between the two of you. Here's the first thing I'm going to do, sir. I normally don't ever do grant travel expenses, things like that on retro. I'll give you a break on your child support amount. But since we're so early in your circumstances and I don't know what your overall expenses are going to be for a long period of time, but the fact that you did do what you did, I will look at doing I'm looking at going ahead and granting the retroactive child support, giving you credit for the credit that the mom, for what you did do as far as the funds you spent and the amount you spent as far as daycare is concerned. But I'm going to go ahead and grant the retroactive child support. I'm going to order repayment on the retroactive child support in addition to regular child support. It's not a lot, but I am going to look at an additional $50 a month toward the payment of the retroactive child support. I'm going to go ahead and order both of you folks going forward to do all communications on a parenting app. And I'm going to use the free one. It's App Close. It's AppClose. Ma'am, you're going to have to go on either wherever you got an iPhone or an Android to go on either Google Play or iTunes and download App Close and set up your account. All communications between the two of you will be on that app going forward. That way, if it ever comes back before me and there's a he said, she said, like you two are doing today, I'm going to rely on app. I can appoint the child a lawyer and have that child pull every darn thing y'all did on App Close and bring it to court and either electronic or paper form and figure out for myself what is actually happening. So again, that's why we're going to go with App Close going forward. I'm not. I don't know if they're, and they normally don't do it. I usually order electronic visitation with the child every Sunday. He's only one, so he's not going to hang around for long. Usually I make it 30 minutes, but if you can get a 1-year-old to hang around 5 minutes, you're a better man than I am. So the bottom line is I am going to go ahead and order visitation on electronic visitation on Sundays at 6 p.m. Central, which means 7 p.m. your time in DC or in the DC area, sir. So that's every Sunday. However, as far as that visitation is concerned, you will need to let the mom know at least 48 hours in advance. You can make it 76, whatever, but at least 48 hours in advance through App Close, the texting function, that you will be doing your visitation that Sunday. I'm not sure if that interferes with your job. Do you work on Sundays, sir?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. Well, do you work on both Saturdays and Sundays?
I work Saturday and Sunday.
All right. What time do you go? What time do you get off from work, sir? What time you go to work? What time you get off?
4 to 12.
Okay. So you work from 4 p.m. to 12 p.m.?
So my shift, it normally changes. Sometimes I can go from 12 to 8 or from 4 to 12. Normally if it changes, then I let my boss know, but it's the night shift. I get off at
Okay.
like
Well, I'm going to change your time frame, sir. You ought to give me an explanation. I just need to know what times you actually work, and we're talking about 12 noon to either 8 or you work in the evening. You don't work in the mornings, right?
I don't work.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and make your electronic visits at 11 a.m. instead of 6 p.m. And that's going to be 11. I'm sorry. So that's that's going to be that'll still make you at 12 p. That'll still make you at 12 noon. So here's the deal, sir. I'm just gonna make it 12. I'm gonna make it at 12 noon Central Time. And if you gotta work, you gotta work. But if you don't, you let mom know ahead at 48 hours in advance. Hey, I'm gonna call and do my electronic visit on Sunday at noon. Okay. If you gotta work, you gotta work. But if not, then you can do it. Or since you got an electronic device, you can actually maybe do your your visits if you actually have to work at noon. Oh, you're at work, but the bottom line is, sir, I'm going to give you 12 noon. I can't inconvenience the mother any more than necessary. So instead of 6 p.m. on Sunday, I'm going to make it at 12 noon on Sunday, and you give her 48 hours of notice in advance. Ma'am, again, download the app, set up the account. Sir, she'll set up the account and send Dad the necessary information for him to log in and come in on the account afterwards. That's the way it usually sets up. And that's the way we're going to do that. As far as like I said, the retro, I'm going to order it as is. Again, sir, if you had a bigger, longer history, because the child's only 1 year old, if you had a better history of visitation, I would give you a bigger break on your child support amount. But for right now, instead of the child support is the guideline is $890. Is that correct, Miss Graham?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to order the current child support, giving him the necessary funds to actually see the child a couple of times. Well, half the necessary funds to see the child a couple of times a year. I'm going to go ahead and order that his current child support will be $815 a month, giving him a break on and giving him $75 a month, which is going to come out to about $900 a year. So that'll pay for for a couple of trips down to Texas. I'm not, he's not. I'm not giving him full credit for everything. So like I say, it's only for half. But I will give you that difference, sir. And if we come back later on and you're not doing your visitation, I'll take that away in a New York minute. So it's up to you to again, sir, to do your visitation going forward. But based on the distances, it's not impractical for you to come down to see your child a couple of times a year. And once he gets old enough, obviously, you can come pick him up for his visitation and take him back to Maryland or wherever you're stationed. Because both of you are supposed to be here till 29. So by the time 29 comes around, he'll be 5 years old and able to do to travel back and forth. But it's going to be your responsibility to pick the child up and return the child. That's straight out of Texas Family Code. I'm going to waive court costs due to military services of both parties. And again, everything else is per the order. Is there anything, Ms. Graham, I need to specifically rule on for you?
Because the numbers change so many times, Your Honor, using the BAH
Yeah.
from Killeen, Texas, I show that the amount of guideline support for November and December was $630 a month, $890 for January. Giving credit for the daycare and the $60 the mother testified to makes the balance of retroactive child support $1,693. Is that the amount the
Okay.
court is ordering?
Yes, ma'am. I'm ordering the full amount and order repayment at $50 a month. Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's all I needed, Your Honor.
All right, again, folks, it's not. In the 20 years I've been doing this job, I've never given anyone credit, sir, on retro. Okay, that's just not how it works. I give you credit going forward in the future, and if you don't exercise your visitation, then we take away that credit the next time it's up for review. But that's just the way it works. So at this time, I'm going to start with you, ma'am. Questions?
Yes, does the payment change when we rank up into a different pay grade?
No, sir. No, ma'am. It's not automatic. It's you have to the norm is the state looks at these things every 3 years. Okay. If you're going to
Okay.
be here 3 years from now, there's a chance that my successor will be the one looking at what it will be at that point. But if you start making some rank very, very fast, he start making some rank very, very fast, say he gets 2 grades in 2 years, then then you could always ask the state to look at what the child support should be, and they could always file a modification to update it. But you got a 1-year-old child, and when if in cases that where there's been one over the last, and I've been a judge here for 18 years, I probably looked at some of those cases, updated some of those cases between 4 and 5 times. Okay, but again, it's all based on income. So, but it's not an automatic. It has to be. This is only a snapshot in time. So if it goes up, it goes up. If it goes down, it goes down. Next question, ma'am.
So if for any reason he doesn't make the payment, how will I be allotted the expenses that I'm paying on a month-to-month basis?
I mean, he works for the United States Army, and the state of Texas is going to send a wage withholding order to DFAST, and the Army's going to take it out of his paycheck. So long as he's in the Army, it's going to come out automatically.
Okay. And then I had a last question because recently there was a change to the BAH for the state of Texas. It did go from 13 to 15, and I wasn't sure if you calculated that.
I was looking at from last year. No, ma'am, we did not, but I'm leaving it where it is. Okay. That's not prerogative. We're not going to do this again for what would be what, $16? No, we're good. All right, Sarah. Sure. Questions?
My questions are, when it comes to like me actually being able to like go down and see my son, like what do I need to do to let her know that I'm coming, and like for her to like how in advance
All
do I
right, sir. Here's the
know
deal. When you're going to be coming down to visit your child, based on the possession order that the state has put in this order, you need to give. I'll have the state add. You need to give her 7 days advance notice that you're coming down for your court-ordered visitation, and you do it through the app that I assigned in this case, App Close. All right.
Okay.
And visitation, and like I said in my morning speech, visitation and child support are both enforceable. So everybody needs to follow the court order. Otherwise, everybody can end up in Bell County Jail. I've actually had a case where I had to put both parties in jail at the same time because one wasn't paying child support and the other wasn't doing visitation. It's a rarity, but it happens. So yeah. Next question, sir.
When I go, like, how am I allotted my time with him? Like when it comes to me going.
It's in the court order, sir. It's in the court order, sir, what your visitation is. The one that's in your the visitation package that's in your CSRO, The document that we're here on today, that's your time frames. I hadn't
Okay.
read your whole order today, but that's in the order. The only thing I added was the electronic visit. So read your order, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me take a look. Let me see what's in your order.
It's a
Okay.
standard visitation. There's actually electronic
You got the standard
visitation on the
visitation order?
last page.
I'm sorry?
There's actually electronic visitation on the last page, and I don't know that it had specificity as to when because of his schedule, but I'll add that.
Okay, add it. Yeah, make it on, like I say, noon Central Time. And he's already give mom again 48 hours notice on that, and
Yes.
7 days notice on exercising the standard visitation package.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then
All right. Any other
if
questions, Mr. Allen?
if she moves or changes occupations or anything like that, does she have to let me know?
Here's the deal, sir. Check your order out, but you're both ordered to let each other know where you live, what your addresses are, what your phone numbers are. I don't think there's anything in there about email, but you're both obligated to do so. The orders, the standard order that's in the family code says you're supposed to let everybody know 30 days in advance or as soon as you know, if it's not within 30 days. But again, you're both ordered to update on communication information. Change phones, new numbers. Change addresses, new addresses. Child school, if the child's in school, change schools, let the other parent know. Okay. All right, sir. I'm not going to do any more what ifs. Okay. That's not, I'm asking you, but do you have any other questions about the order itself, sir?
Not that I know of, sir.
All right, then I'm going to go ahead and prepare the order and add the additions. Everybody, both of y'all download AppClose. And again, technically your first visitation, electronic visitation, is with your son this coming Sunday, sir, at 12 noon. And for this first visitation, you do not have to give mom the 48 hours notice, but going on starting next week, you will. And ma'am, go ahead and download that app immediately and send the father the necessary information so he can log into that account also. And the app has FaceTime, it has texting, it even has money transfer things. But don't use the money transfer things to pay child support. If you're going to transfer money for something extra, then you can do so. But child support has to come through the state disbursement unit until DFAS starts taking it out, sir. It's your responsibility to send that amount in. Anything else at this time, Mr. Graham?
No, Your Honor.
All right, folks. I've got other hearings to go through, so I'm going to go ahead and I made all the rulings necessary, so I'm off the record on this one. Thank you both. Good luck.
That hearing proved that even with receipts, some parents will always argue that it's not enough. And as usual, it's the mother weaponizing child support when things don't go her way. Why is financial support treated like the ultimate proof of parental involvement? And why do expectations turn co-parenting into a war instead of a collaboration? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more gripping courtroom moments. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.